Hello. Hey YouTube, how's it going? Chris here. I just wanted to give you my raw thoughts about the Arrowverse Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. The first 3 episodes have been going on since Sunday, and I just want to talk about them for a little bit. This will be kind of a free-form video. I used to do live reactions to like the premieres, crossovers, and finales, but I used to do all right, let me go again. I used to do reviews of like the premieres and the crossovers and finales and stuff, but I've been really busy as of late with like work and stuff, but it didn't feel right not talking about Crisis on this channel at all. I have been talking about it on my podcast, the Two Black to Nerdy podcast, which can be found on iTunes and Google Play, but I wanted to talk about it on this channel since I'm not doing a reaction or anything this time. So, overall, I'm digging Crisis. I mean, is Crisis like the best story ever told and completely unpredictable and like, you'll never ever guess how they're going to win or, oh my God, is everyone going to die? Of course not. But the reason why I like this crossover and the idea that they're adapting this from the comics is that this is a story that's just massive and crazy and allows them to integrate so many characters, not just from the Arrowverse itself, but from all sorts of DC TV shows that have been on for decades. You've got like Smallville Superman and Smallville Superman and Classic Flash and Brandon Routh gets to be Superman again and Birds of Prey, and we had Lucifer show up, which was crazy, a Tim Burton shout out, a Titan shout out, Batman 66 shout out, Kevin Conroy shows up, and cameos to people who aren't familiar with these things may just kind of seem like whatever, like, oh man, like who cares, you've seen these characters for a minute and they go away. But it's nice that we get just like a thing that acknowledges like what came before it. And if you ever watch any of these shows or knew of any of these characters before, you get excited because you're like, ooh, that character. So that, has been by far the best part of Crisis. And as far as the story itself, I've actually really enjoyed it. And before I get into like hardcore spoilers, like please don't watch this if you haven't seen the first three parts of Crisis, because I will get into details. All right. And so they killed Oliver in the first part. Now, there was, some controversy about this because some people were like, oh, why did Oliver go out that way? I don't understand why they had to do it like that. I knew it was going to die, but it was too soon. But they clearly, in my opinion, when they killed him in the first episode, I thought, well, they clearly have other things for Oliver. They're going to use Stephen Amell in some other way. So I actually enjoyed them killing Oliver off in the first episode because it kept me on my seat. I was like, I don't know what they're going to do, how it's going to happen. Now, from what it looks like, Oliver, the Green Arrow, is going to become the new Spectre. Now, the old Spectre showing up on Lian Yu and Oliver's like Purgatory, I thought it was a little rush, but the idea of Oliver becoming like a god or becoming like this, super, third dimension godlike being, I think is cool because the Arrowverse is clearly going to continue, and now you can let Stephen Amell guest star whenever you want. So I thought that was super cool. And as far as Barry being the other one who was like destined to die, they ended up killing Earth 90 Flash instead of our Flash. Clearly the Flash was going to continue on. There are Flash stories they haven't done, Flash characters we haven't met yet. So they were able to get rid of another Flash, while keeping our Flash, which was nice because you knew Barry wasn't going to leave. So I enjoyed how they resolved that. There were a lot of other crazy things that happened. And this is not in order at all. I'm just kind of going off the top of my head over the things I remember. Oliver pretty much made his daughter the new Green Arrow. She's getting a spinoff. I know not everybody loves Mia. There's definitely some controversy about, is she a good character or not? But I'm willing to give her a chance. I think the storylines they've given her thus far have been kind of lame. She's been forced to be whiny. Hopefully on her show, she's not like that, you know? Kevin Conroy's cameo playing Bruce Wayne I thought was cool. We finally got a live action version of Bruce Wayne in the Arrowverse. Now this Bruce Wayne was broken down and depressed and mean and a killer. And I saw some reviewers and people complaining like, oh, this isn't my Batman. Batman doesn't kill. Batman's not supposed to be like this, da 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 da. But the idea of Crisis on Infinite Earths is that there's so many different versions of different characters, you can pretty much do whatever you want. And Batman's always been a character, in my opinion, that's always been on the edge of being a villain. You know, he goes out, I mean, he's a rich guy who goes out in the middle of the night and beats people up. So the idea that you're playing with, like, maybe he does go too far. What happens? I thought was super interesting. And that whole scene with him is definitely used to sort of tee up the dynamic between Batwoman, Supergirl, Kate, and Kara, because we're losing the Barry and Oliver dynamic that we've had the previous Arrowverse crossovers, and the Flash has got to end at some point, you know, maybe in a year or two. So it makes sense that if you want two more like leaders in the CW verse, you know, two like senior characters, it will be Supergirl and Batwoman, especially since they're both cousins of Batman and Superman, you know, the two most iconic characters in DC Comics. So I'm curious to see what they do with that dynamic moving forward. And we saw a lot of Earths get wiped out, pretty much all of them. I mean, in the first episode, we got a number of Earths wiped out, but by the time we finished the third part, every Earth got wiped out, including Earth 1. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do, how they bring the Earths back, because clearly they have to, but if it follows the comics, all the Earths aren't going to come back. Only a certain number of them, and certain characters will show up in places they haven't been before. I'm curious to see how this will affect shows going forward. Like, we have a confirmation, like Black Lightning is not in the same Earth as has not been on Earth 1. He's been on his own Earth. You know, will he be on Earth 1 now? Will he be able to interact with other superheroes more? Clearly, like, Black Lightning shoots in another state, which is why they haven't really crossed over before. But I'm curious to see if they're going to play with that now that they can. Another thing that I was super interested in was what they were kind of doing with the Monitor and Lila and Pariah, where at the beginning it looks like Pariah and Lila, they work for the Monitor. And, you know, they're kind of just like his hench people to sort of give exposition. But we learned in the last episode, they've both been working for the Anti-Monitor the entire time. And the Monitor himself was actually getting played. So hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about the Anti-Monitor, why he does what he does, his plans, things of that nature. Another character has been really great in Crisis so far is Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor has been awesome. You know, definitely evil, definitely mischievous. And, you know, his scene with Smallville Clark, I thought was great. Because even though he had all this power and was talking all this stuff, Smallville Clark was able to say a few words to him that just got him to just stop. And now that he's sort of replaced Brandon Routh Superman as like one of the 7 like heroes that have to fight the Anti-Monitor, I'm curious to see how he's going to aid the heroes, what he's going to do, because Lex is obviously a snake, but I think it's fun for characters to have like a token evil teammate. It's a trope that I've loved in a lot of stories where we don't want to work with this guy, but we're desperate. I've always thought that was super cool. So I'm interested to see what they do with Lex. A little sad that we lost Superman Returns Superman so quickly, especially when they really hyped him up. Like, oh, Brandon Routh putting on the cape again, it's going to be Superman again. But I did like his fight with the main Superman and getting to learn more about him in his universe, because that version of Superman is supposed to be like the Christopher Reeve Superman, the movie Superman. And we learned that most of his family died, but he's still pushing on, he's still hopeful. And I really enjoyed that, because it's sort of seeing Superman after the end is, you know, he's still trying to make it. They also did a shout out to his son, which he did have a son in the Superman Returns movie. I actually did see that movie in like 2006, like a long time ago, and I remember him having a son. So that was all super cool. And yeah, I mean, those have been my thoughts on a lot of the big things in Crisis that have happened so far. There's been other things they're teeing up, like Ryan Choi is going to be the new Atom. He's joined the main heroes. Trying to think of anything crazy that I missed. Yeah, I don't think I missed anything super noticeable or super crazy, but yeah, I'm really digging the crossover. I really enjoyed it. It's super cool. I can't wait to see what they do with part 4 and 5 that aren't going to be until next year in January, so we'll have some time to wait for that. And hopefully I'll be able to give a little talk about that when that comes out next year. And if you want more commentary about what I think about DC and like TV shows and stuff, I'm still doing the Too Black Too Nerdy again. The Too Black Too Nerdy podcast is for free on iTunes and Google Play, so definitely go check it out. And yeah, that's about it. If you watch this video, thank you. I really appreciate it. And you can definitely, like and subscribe if you would like. I'm going to try to put out some content every once in a while. My schedule is very busy, and I kind of want to get back into it a little bit. So yeah, thank you. And I will catch you all later. Peace.